Hello and welcome to the Retro Game Club podcast. This is Season 8, Episode 5, aka Episode 216. I am Zach, and with me today is someone else who is a week late to record this episode, Rob.
What even is time? I honestly didn't even realize we were like a week late.
Yeah, it's, it's really been more than that because we had that rewind episode, right?
Yeah, I wonder how everyone liked that one. I enjoyed going back and listening to that.
It seemed like it was pretty well received, according to the people in the Discord anyway.
What, since we haven't talked in a while, what have you been up to?
Man, I've been up to quite a bit. I got a list. I'll just go through some of them, and then when enough time has passed, we'll move on to you. But for one, when we get to Wind Waker, this will be why I didn't actually finish it. I did end up picking up Resident Evil Requiem, and I specifically wanted to get the Resident Evil Generations pack, which has Resident Evil 7, 8, and 9 all together.
Okay.
In physical, it's key cards or whatever, but you can resell that. That's the not that I'm going to, but I like to have the option. But when I found out about that, it was already too late. All the pre-orders were sold out, and so I was looking on eBay, and I think the original price was like $90 or $100. I was looking on eBay, and I was like, I'll pay $135 max. So you're getting 3 games. It's 3 games I've never played before. Mm-hmm. It's physical. It's kind of got a cool case.
They're all reviewed well too.
Yeah, it's worth it to me. I was like $135, and I see somebody had one listed at $145.59, I think it was, or buy now or counter offer, right? Mm-hmm. Or make an offer. So I'm not going to offer what I'm going to pay, right? Because there's going to be some back and forth. So I think I offered something like 120 or something like that, and he comes back with 145 flat. He took 59 cents off. So it's like, buddy, you got to come down more than 59 cents. And then I came up a little bit. I was like, how about 125? And he's like, 145 flat. And so I was like, all right, man, get wrecked. You're not making a sale today. Yeah. And then like 2 days later, I found one, buy it now for like 135 free shipping. So I got what I wanted.
Nice. Perfect.
And they shipped it right away. I had it in my hands a couple days later, and I've been playing Resident Evil. I started with 9 because I was kind of psyched to play that one, and it might be too scary for me.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God, run. So
are you playing in handheld or on TV?
I'm playing on the TV, usually at night in the dark.
So that's your problem.
I should probably play it during the day handheld in some of these places, but yeah, it's pretty freaky. I'm not even that far into it, and it's hard too. I keep dying. I have like no ammo, nothing.
Now, do you have a history with Resident Evil?
Not so much. I think the first one I played was 0 on the GameCube. I liked it. That was pretty good. And then I played 4 on the GameCube, and that's my favorite. Well, I haven't really played that many other ones, to be fair. But I love 4. That's a great game. I played it so many times on the GameCube. I bought it on the Wii, played it a bunch of times on the Wii. I bought it when it came out on Switch, played it a bunch of times on the Switch. I have not played the remake of that one yet because I didn't have the hardware to do it, but I think that might be on Switch too. So I might at some point, because I love that game. I'll just play it over and over again. But I did try 5 and 6, and neither one of them really. They were just too much of a departure for me. 5 was anyway. 6 kind of goes back to the more traditional, from my perspective, Resident Evil. But then I don't know. I didn't like the way it controlled or something. Just something, I don't know. I was just using the demo. I was like, I don't think so. Maybe it was just I was in the wrong mood for it. But besides that, while preparing for another ranking episode on my show, I had talked before about we ranked all the Metroid games. Mm-hmm. And so we recorded one recently where we ranked all the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting collection, arcade collection, something like that. I forget the name of it.
Yeah.
So it's got 6 fighting games plus the Punisher beat 'em up We didn't include the Punisher beat 'em up because that's the clear winner. But all the other ones we ranked. But while preparing for that, I realized I had an error in my spreadsheet for the Metroid one. And I was like, oh no. So I fixed all the numbers and it flip-flopped the top two. And anybody who's listened to it knows that it was a big point of contention that Super Metroid was number 2 and Metroid Dread was number 1. And people were like freaking out. And there was a lot of argument on the show. But it turned out that Super Metroid was number 1. And so I had to record a fix-up for that.
An amendment.
Yeah.
If it means anything to anyone, I still believe that Metroid Dread is a bit better than Super Metroid. It is a flawless game.
I do too. Exactly. So like, I think Super Metroid, I said as much in the episode, it's the better story by far. It's got the best story in all of Metroid, probably in all of video games, but it's got some parts to it that are a slog that I don't like. And I never hit that in Dread. And while Dread's story is a little bit wackier, it's still pretty good.
Speaking of scary games, Dread is a scary game. It's
intense. It gets my blood going.
Yeah, that Emmy is. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yep. So, what have you been up to?
Oh, let's see. I finally had the Super Multi-System 2 arrive. So it's sitting here unboxed but unused because I ordered it comes with like Polymega style adapters, so you could use real controllers. And
yeah, right. It looks like a cartridge slot, but
exactly.
And they kind of look like cartridges, but with controller ports on them.
Yep. And the TurboGrafx one it comes with is only PC Engine controller compatible. So there's different sizes in the state for TurboGrafx controllers. So I had to order an adapter for that, and
it didn't even occur to me that they were different. Is it the same pinout but different plug size?
Pretty much, I think. Okay. And then I think they even changed it for the Duo and went for PC Engine. I can't remember the actual timeline there, but so I was going to use this for a lot of that kind of emulation, but I have all these other analog systems that are unboxed, but this one is also making it very simple. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I ordered that adapter. I might use this as a PlayStation 1 and Saturn system. So we shall see. I have those adapters. I just have to go find controllers. I have boxes of controllers in storage. So more on that another time. But it all goes back to controllers.
So and it just runs ROMs off of flash memory?
Yep. It's an FPGA system. It's pretty much a consoleized Mr. FPGA. It uses you could take your SD card out of a Mr. and just pop it in there, and it'll work fine.
Nice.
Yeah, so pretty cool. It simplifies the Mr. So that's what I like about it.
That's important.
Yeah.
Those are not easy. Well, I'm sure they've gotten easier, but I think that was kind of a barrier for entry for some people.
Yeah, there's no good cases for the Misters and stuff like that. So yeah, this just makes it simple. And they're always on pre-order. So if you want one, just pre-order it and eventually it shows up. And then just something for the listeners, I'd really like to play some Evercade cards. So I am taking suggestions for Game Club games. So email, get into Discord or whatever, and give some suggestions for some Evercade games. And other than that, one of the reasons why we didn't record is I had been working for 7 days a week since the last week in February. So I haven't been doing much else other than Game Club games.
Yeah, same. Well, I guess I was playing Resident Evil 9. Well, yeah, I've been busy. Every day I'm like, oh boy, is Rob going to ask me to record today? I'm pretty busy. And you kept saying, I'm so busy. I'm like, don't worry about it. No problem.
It's just been crazy. So I'm pretty much near the end of that. So a lot more games coming. A lot more recording coming. Oh, I should bring up, I created a chat GPT just for walking you through video games and answering video games questions. Zach has been very good at finding specific questions it's bad at. And then I fix that question and then break other questions. So If anyone's interested in helping me test this, it's very just for like friends and family to use. So, I'll put it in Discord and stuff. Get in the Discord and just ask about it. And it's been fun developing that. It doesn't have a name or anything. It's just a project I'm working on to learn. But I have been working on that on the side. But other than that, since it's been a very long time, we have a ton of news.
Sure do.
This first one, I can't even remember. When this is from February 24th.
I don't think I put any of these except for the one that Hughes sent in.
Okay, well, this article is really cool. It's from Popular Science, which is a magazine that I used to have a subscription to, and magazines were a thing.
Yep, man, my dad had that.
Oh, it's so good. It was
I would
so good.
always pore over that.
Oh, yeah, especially going back to old issues. Like, if you find an old issue and, like, just see about how excited they were for something that, like, never came out or was a dud or just, like, blew up the world. It was so cool. It's just fun going back and seeing that perspective.
I should ask him if he has any of those, or I wish I could find them cheap on eBay or something, but I wonder if my younger son would be interested in looking at those.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. But this one has to do with this show. The archivist preserving decaying floppy disks. And no, this is not about Jason Scott, surprisingly. I don't even think he's mentioned in here, which is weird. But this is I guess, kind of scientist, research person who, I didn't pore over this article, but at Cambridge University Library, this person has been helping preserve floppy disks, thinking it would be an easy project, and it just took over her life. And because there are so many different kinds of floppies and yada yada yada, and it goes over like WAS file type flux. I guess you'd call it an archive, and it shows like demonstrations how like if a floppy gets even a little bit of mold on the magnetic surface, how you can't even get a flux from it because the head spreads the mold around the surface and stuff like that.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's a really interesting article, and I'm so glad people are spending time archiving.
It was interesting that you had put this one up. I think you had put this one up before you decided on what that Rewind episode was going to be, because in the Rewind episode, you guys were talking about the applesauce, which is the hardware used to make the WAS archives for flux imaging of disks. So yeah, I thought this was interesting. It seemed like a lot of information that we'd seen elsewhere, but importantly, she seems to be focusing more on academic stuff, whereas people like Jason Scott are focusing more on the games, and they're both important.
Yeah. It's really cool. I mean, I feel like I kind of wish something like this was my job. I even went into museum studies and did internships at Henry Ford Museum and stuff like that for archiving. And
I used to do like data recovery as like just a side hustle, just because it's fun. Mm-hmm. And I just tell people on Craigslist, I'm like, yeah, like no charge for me to see if I can recover it, right? And that was fun for a while, but then like some dude got like really crazy, and I was like, all right, this isn't really worth it anymore.
Yeah, it's Craigslist. You're lucky you didn't get skin suited. Yeah, I have a few stories like that too, where I was fixing computers on the side, and man, for fixing computers, you have to go into people's homes, and sometimes you don't want to be there.
Yeah.
That should be it. That's an unofficial question of the week. If you have any creepy, scary, funny stories about helping people fix stuff or setting up stuff, please email us. Email at retrogameclub.net.
There's got to be a lot of those.
Yes. Yeah.
And I want to hear them.
Yeah. Moving on, Hackaday. Real-time shader running on the Game Boy Color. And this is really impressive. It is exactly what it sounds like. You could see it on GitHub. And before, Zach, you go into your part, because you point out some, maybe that was a different, that was a different article I'm thinking about. Okay. But I definitely think everyone should go to this Hackaday article or the YouTube channel and check it out, because it is so impressive. It looks better than like a 46 running shaders. And what I wanted to point out is that if you read the first few comments, it is all just, it changed a little bit, so you have to scroll down just a little bit, but it's just people correcting the grammar of the person who wrote this article. And I feel bad because I'm a bit dyslexic, and I was like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have caught that if I wrote this. And then you scroll down long enough and they're just like, well, at least a human wrote this. And everyone's like, yeah, we could tell a human wrote this. So that's pretty good.
Well, it's only a matter of time before AI starts incorporating grammar mistakes to fake it better.
Yes.
I like a good Hackaday article. I do want to point out I never did get my T-shirt from them when I won the.
Oh no!
And I even I followed up on email with Elliot, the guy who runs the show, and he's ghosted me. So the T-shirt is a lie. But I like this. Somewhere in there was a link to actually test it out, like through online emulation, and it looks really good. It works very quickly, and I have to think that it's because it's only on a 48 by 48 pixel object that it's doing it. So I wonder, like, if you tried to do it, what's the full resolution of the Game Boy? Like 120 by 160
I have no idea.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
But I wonder if you did it full screen, like how much would that slow it down? But it's pretty cool to see for sure.
Yeah, definitely a passion project. Keeping with Hackaday, the TABoy, ATA-boy, is just what it sounds like. It's a USB adapter for your parallel ATA port. And that's it. It's new. It's open source, so you could make it yourself if you like. It seems really stable, and we need stuff like this to keep happening. And then at the end, it's like, or you could just use a Raspberry Pi and use the GIPO port.
I guess this kind of ties in with that first article with the preserving. I guess it's not floppies, but it is preservation related.
You would take the files she preserved and use this to actually use them.
Yeah, exactly. So when I first saw this, though, I was like, I have like 3 of these devices at least, because like I said, I did data recovery and I would use the ATA bridge for that. But then I actually read the article, and it was very specifically pointed out that before 1990, the addressing on the drives was different. And so now the commercially available ATA USB bridges don't usually work on those because they don't know how to handle the addressing properly. So then it made sense to me why this was a big deal.
When you were doing data recovery, did you ever have success by platter replace? Well, not platter replacement, but like where you actually have to open it up, you see the platter, you put in a new head or motor or something?
No, I tried it a couple of times. And I was always very clear. I was like, look, there is a chance that I'm just going to make this worse. Like I have, no confidence in my ability to do this. If I do this, then you're not going to be able to send it to an actual professional and pay them $1,000 to do it. Right. But it's only happened once or twice. And both times the guy was like, I'm just going to give up on this if you can't do it, because I'm not going to pay that much for data recovery. But I have done things where you swap the board on the drive. That's fixed it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Anytime I've done anything where you see the platter, I make it worse. And one time, this was actually recent. This is after this podcast actually started. I had a RAID 1 boot disk. Mm-hmm. And it actually used a RAID card or, built-in RAID card. It wasn't software RAID, is my point.
Right. Yeah.
And something happened with that, and it totally failed. And it happened in a way, it's hard to explain, but I actually spent the money and sent it off to a forensic company because they were supposed to be the best. Mm-hmm. And they couldn't recover it. And I was like, God, what's the point of... This is why actual backups and probably not using hardware RAID. Everyone always says don't use hardware RAID anymore. But why software RAID is, so much better.
Isn't RAID 1 mirrored?
Yeah, yeah, but it happened
Oh,
in a way where it like messed
oh,
up both. Like, I don't know if it was a power surge through the card or whatever, but it did
okay,
the
yeah.
same thing to both drives.
That stinks.
Yes.
Yeah, I for a while I was obsessed with like having a RAID 5 array and having at least 4 disks in it. And I tried out a couple of systems, and I would always get a disk failure after a few weeks. And and then I would check the disk out, and it seemed to be totally fine. I don't know, and I don't know. I just gave up on it, and I just buy really big drives, and I just back up obsessively.
Well, I have a 12 disc RAID here,
Nice.
backing up to a 4 disc RAID that has bigger drives in it. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty backed up, but what was I going to say about that? On that drive, I own Bancestry.com, and I've been writing. There's been like 5 false starts. I've been writing like an Ancestry.com, but for like musicians,
Right.
bands, producers, and
That's
stuff.
clever name.
And I finally got it working great. And that's when it failed. And I never committed that final one to GitHub.
Oh man.
And so at that point, I gave up. This is, again, years and years ago. Just a few weeks ago, I loaded up Cursor AI, and I was like, I wonder, because I still have the vector database I created back then. And so I was like, analyze this database, and I described the software, and it wrote it in like 5 minutes, something that took me weeks and weeks. Now, it wasn't perfect or anything, but I was just like, damn it.
Well, good thing that you didn't spend a lot of time trying to recover it.
Yeah, but it was like, man, I learned a lot creating that. It's like kids today, or even me today, like, I hope people still actually code, because I gained a lot from actually coding it myself. And I was happy when I could recreate it, but at the same time, I was like, well, now what do I do? Like, I'm
Yeah,
not
I
even
don't know.
interested anymore.
I feel like at some point you need to know something about coding, even to do vibe coding or whatever. Because how are you going to correct it if you can't just tell it to correct it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was a strange experience. What else do we have here? Modder creates portable display cartridge for the Analogue 3D, and that is exactly what this sounds. This is on Retro Dodo, a pretty good website, where it's like an Evercade looking N64 cartridge, but it looks like, what, a 2.5, 3-inch display on there?
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't know why you would have an Analogue 3D and not a screen, but
Yeah, this seems like this was a cool idea and probably not that difficult to do. I wish they had shown a build or something, like a little bit more about it, or a video of it working would be nice. But
or
it was
even
pretty
like
cool.
a image from the back to show it's not just like a cable coming from the back of the
Right.
console into a
Right?
TV.
Yeah, that's a fair point as well.
And let's see, on a website that I thought was dead but is not dead, from romhacking.net, this is NES Tetris with 7-bag random generator. So this gives you equal opportunity for every kind of Tetris shape, which I forget the name of those. Are they called Tetris Cs?
Tetronymos?
Something like that.
Tetraminos?
But that's it. It wasn't completely random in the original SNES, well, any Tetris. So this levels the playing field. I wonder how people like that are really into Tetris feel about this. Like, is this a slap in the face, or is this something that's welcome?
I don't know.
I've never been good at
even
Tetris.
I don't even see this news story in the notes. That's weird. Okay. Well, maybe I need to refresh it. Anyways, we can press on.
If it's not, oh yeah, I don't see it either. Weird. Well, I will put it there.
All right.
And do some editing. And then moving on, some more porting fun. Is this in our porting section yet? Are we there yet? Well, this should be, I guess. We have a whole section of just porting news. WinTown is a SimCity. Well, it's called WinTown Micropolis. It's a SimCity for NT for RISC systems. So I actually had an NT RISC server for a while. So that'd be Alpha, MIPS, PowerPC, Titanium, and ARM. NT40 ran on all of those, and obviously including x86. But this gives you a nice SimCity video game for it, which looks pretty good. It's a wrapping of the original Linux version of this into like Win32 for RISC. So you could get this on GitHub. It is called WinTown. If any listeners of any podcast has a RISC NT 4.0 system, I feel like it's a listener for this podcast.
It's pretty niche audience there.
Yeah, I miss those times. And moving on, Pocket Quake. So there's a lot of Analog Pocket owners on this podcast. And this is a port to RISC-V, which the Cyclone 5 FPGA does very well. It's just ported directly to that, and it runs pretty good, right?
Yeah, so is Quake not just an MS-DOS game? Right? Isn't it? Didn't it run on MS-DOS?
Yeah, but I think for some reason playing it that way was a bit too much for the Cyclone 5 FPGA.
So what is this emulating?
The RISC-V architecture.
Okay.
So that's like an open source CPU.
Okay. And there's a build of Quake for that then?
Yes. So
okay.
And it's like native to the Analog Pocket.
Yeah. This was another one where I could have used a little more detail in or a video. Did you try it?
No. Just because I kept scrolling down and it talked about compiling and stuff. And I was like, I'm compiling stuff for work. I just can't right now.
there was something else I was going to try a while back for the Analog, and it was just like, just compile this. I'm like, oh, no, never mind. I need the work done for me.
But it looks like it's still regularly maintained. The last update was only 2 weeks ago. It's not bad. And moving on with ports, Homebrew Dev Recreates Minecraft on the Sega Saturn. And again, this is very impressive.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of Minecraft obviously was a Java app, but I'm trying to think what era of CPU and RAM would that have been?
Oh, the first one? Yikes. Yeah, I don't know. It's been around a while. I like this particular news item because they did include a video, so you don't have to do it yourself. But I don't have that much experience with Minecraft, but I thought it looked pretty good. The frame rate's probably a little bit low, and it's certainly lacking a lot of the newer graphics improvements, but it looked totally playable. And it kind of reminds me of have you seen the Minecraft on GBA that somebody did kind of recently?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, my kids told me about that. I was like, what? And so I had to check that out. But it's impressive, but it's slowing and lacking a lot of the bells and whistles that you would get with the Java edition or the Bedrock edition.
I am actually going to sneak in an article here. I was going to wait till next episode, but I think this is too cool, and we're already like in a ports type situation here. So let me put this in here. I don't even know if I can edit this part of the show. So this came out, 2 days ago. This is a Nintendo 64 got a seamless open world game. And so this is a new game engine that James Lambert wrote. He's a homebrew coder for the N64. He did the Portal, I don't know if it's a full Portal game or just a few parts of Portal, but that's what he did before this. And so this is a real Breath of the Wild-like game engine for the Nintendo 64. And it's a massive map just in 4 megs of RAM.
There's
And
there's no fog in the distance.
there's no fog at all. He doesn't use any of that.
Yeah, it looks really good. There's a nice video in the article.
A nice long video of him explaining
Yeah.
exactly how he does everything. He shares all the details. It's fascinating.
Nice. I have to listen to that later.
It's very cool. Yeah. So now all my articles are out of order. So what is our next one here? Is it Zelda?
Yes.
I forget. Did I put this in? Did you put this in? It's been so long.
I think you did. I'm pretty sure I didn't put any news stories in because I've been slacking.
Well, this is a PC port of The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. So this is, a decompile, recompile into, I think, C++, maybe C. And it uses no Zelda assets, so it has not been taken down. And it has in big red letters on GitHub that it doesn't use any of the assets. You need to own the game. And then it converts certain assets to update them to higher res and stuff like that. And I think you put a video in this one.
Yeah, I found a link to a video that showed it playing. It looks really good. I feel like the sprites don't look right. They're kind of squished or something, but if they're trying not to get a takedown.
Yeah.
But it is a port of the DX HD, which was a fan remake of DX, and that DX HD version did get a DMCA takedown.
Interesting.
So I think that by leaving out the assets and maybe even recreating some different ones, maybe they're getting around that. So far, maybe they just haven't gotten onto Nintendo's radar yet. I don't know.
I mean, I've only played the Nintendo Switch version of Link's Awakening.
Same, yeah, and it's gorgeous. I love it. I don't think I have the desire to go back and play the original because you only have 2 buttons, and I can't imagine how much switching between weapons you have to do to get through that. That's partly why I haven't played either of the Oracle games either.
Oh, yeah, those are on my list. But I heard a lot of people people who played the original don't like the remake because it actually scrolls fluidly instead of doing like a screen load.
Oh, like the NES version of Zelda where it's like one screen at a time?
Yeah, and so people knew the game by which screen they were on.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, totally.
Glad I didn't have that problem.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a pretty game. But yeah, that was a lot of news. And we have a lot of Game Club.
Yes.
So I guess I'll go with mine first. For Game Club, I don't even know how many weeks ago. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker for the GameCube, which I played on Switch Online. And I never owned this one. I had already sold my GameCube at that point. But the guy that lived downstairs from me had this. And I think I was lending him something. And he just had like his GameCube sitting there unplugged and with a few games. I was like, can I borrow that for a little bit? So that's how I played this one back in the day. And everyone knows or remembers that it got hit with pretty rough fan reviews because people wanted a more adult Link after, an adult Zelda after the previous 2 where he's kind of a kid.
Ocarina.
Yeah,
and Majora's Mask.
And graphics have come a long ways, so they wanted something more hardcore. You know what I mean?
Those people were wrong.
People were wrong. This is a beautiful game. The art directing is amazing. So obviously, this is like a Waterworld situation. This isn't a timeline where, stupid Ganon canon. This is in the timeline where I guess each game is like Ganon, Zelda, and Link are kind of born together, to equal out society. And this is a timeline where Link wasn't born and Ganon ruined everything, but they kept his legend alive. And now you are Link after Ganon ruined everything and flooded the lands. And you go out on this boat that is like, what is it? Red Lion something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That's not important.
Yeah, it's a talking boat that helps you. And yeah, you meet a bunch of society on different islands who help you out. There are a bunch of proper dungeons and a lot of mini dungeons, a lot of great puzzles to solve, and fetch quests and stuff like that. And that's kind of how you get a lot of your extra heart pieces. And after the first, I don't know, I'd say fifth of this game or third of this game, you are finding pieces of a Triforce, which I feel like has not really been in a Zelda in a while.
Yeah. Bring back the Triforce, please.
Yeah. And so I would love a real Triforce mission in a modern Zelda game. But here are my notes from this. I love how much of Wind Waker's DNA ended up in Breath of the Wild. Just so many stuff. And Tears of the Kingdom, like the Phantom Ganons, like kind of Gloom Hands type stuff. A ton of the enemies, how they work. And obviously, it's not just Wind Waker. You know, it's before this and after this, but Wind Waker definitely added a lot to Breath of the Wild. I've never been that big of a fan of Dead Man's Volley, which is you and Ganon following his power back and forth.
Yeah.
It worked well in this, but because it goes faster each time and Link steps forward every time he swings, you're not just it's not a timing thing. It's a timing thing minus a few beats. So you have to be quicker each time.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't use it that much.
So no, I was afraid because it's one of the first things you do in this game. And I was like, oh God.
Right.
But it only happens like twice. Let's see. I got stuck once where I had to look it up. I was going over the map over and over again. And I understand that they give you a hint to go about the water sprout tornado things. Mm-hmm. But the way all the other hints are really given to you, it's after you do a certain thing, after you get a certain power, it'll be obvious that you should do this hint that I'm telling you about. But this one hint, no, you're just supposed to eventually go and, try going into all the tornadoes and then something happens and you can advance. And I didn't know. I was just going back and forth, going around everything, trying to be safe. I was like, I don't know what to do.
Is this when you gotta hit the guy who controls
he's
the tornado?
In the tornado, yeah. You know what I'm talking about? You didn't feel the same thing?
I don't recall because I've played the game so many times. So this time through, like I knew about it. I remembered. I'm just trying to think now if you could actually beat the game without doing that. I think you need to use that.
You can't. You definitely can't.
I think you need it to get to a specific destination that's like inside of an island.
Yeah, it's like the ferry area.
Yeah.
And then you get something in there, that you can't advance without with. And I beat this game. I liked it a lot. I definitely enjoyed it. I could see why they made certain changes to the HD version where you don't have to do as many fetch quests during the Triforce part of this. Mm-hmm. But other than that, no regrets playing the Dreamcast port. I would definitely recommend it. And it's not port, but original version. And not spoiling the ending, but this needs a sequel. Like, it ends on a almost to be continued note where this could be a side quill or a story that doesn't even really involve Link. It doesn't have to be an action adventure. It could almost be like a world building, village building, maybe even tower defense type game that has to do with how this game ends and what should happen afterwards. It's almost an East type ending. I don't know. And so, when you're talking about your thoughts on this, I'm very interested in what you think about that. But I'll end this with my list of 3D games in order from favorite to least favorite. And again, before I say this, I like them all. They're all fantastic games. From best to worst, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, and Majora's Mask. I like all those games, but that's my order. Some of them are very, very close to each other. Almost where it's like it depends what mood I'm in,
Yeah. Wind Waker's number one by a mile for me, personally.
Wow.
But,
yeah, I remember you saying that you don't think you ever have to go back to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it just didn't.
I know a lot of people like that. Yeah.
So this one specifically, what I love about this game, besides the design, let me start. I guess I'll go. I'll get through it. I have so many thoughts in my head at the same time, which is why I had to make notes. I did not complete it this time because I got sidetracked by Resident Evil 9. I did get as far as starting the Triforce quest part of it. I also have just been kind of like doing it as quickly as possible. I think I only have like 6 hearts. I've not been doing any side quests or anything. And I've been doing okay like that because you have save states and all that.
Before you move on, while you're talking about side quests, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I did not do the side quests of the Koroks, where you have to water the Korok plant thing.
I didn't either, I don't think.
You've never done that full side quest?
Oh, have I? Yeah, I think I 100%ed it.
Do you do you remember what you get from that? Like, do you just get a heart piece or something?
Probably just a heart piece. I don't.
Okay, because that seemed like a difficult one. But sorry, go on.
No, that's fine. Regarding the GameCube version versus Wii U, I think that the GameCube version looks more cartoon-like, and that's something about the Wii U version that I like less. It's too smoothed over. I don't know. I love the way that the GameCube version looks. I don't know. There's like too much of the gradient and the shading or something on the Wii U. It's too good. Now the Wii U does have those quality of life improvements that you talked about. It makes it easier to get the Triforce pieces and I think something else, but that's not worth it to me. Not to mention, as we've discussed earlier, the GameCube does have the best controller. So why would you want the Wii U?
That's what I was using. Oh, you can't play this game without it.
No, you can't. You can't. You really, yeah. It's so hard to remap those buttons in your head when it's on screen all the time. You had said something, I don't know if it was on Discord or in a previous episode, but using the Dolphin emulator, I tried that a long time ago, like 5 years, probably closer to 10 years ago. Specifically, I wanted to see what happened if you tried to upscale it to 1080p, and it looked great. And I think I tried that on Metroid Prime 2 around that time too, and that also looked great. That's what I would want in a re-release. It's just higher resolution, widescreen, and keep everything else the same.
Just like Star Wars, you don't want special features. You just want 4K.
Don't mess it up too much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I do love the look of this version of the Wind Waker, and they do carry that into the Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, which they're fun games, but they're not really even close to as good as this game. But what do you want on the DS? This one has the best dungeons in the series for me. That's what I really love about this is the dungeons are puzzles. And that's what's missing for me from from like Breath of the Wild. I know you have the divine beasts, and those are literally more like puzzles, but they're so small, like in terms of the number of rooms and things.
Yeah,
it does not take long to get through, and then you're always just fighting Ganon at the end. And I don't know, these are themed, and like the Earth Temple with the light and the mirrors. Great puzzle solving in
that. So good. I really enjoyed that temple.
Yes, that's that one and the Wind Temple. And you get your little Korok buddy. He is adorable. I could listen to him run around all day. He's got that little rattle when he waddles around. It's great. Yeah. Great weapons. They got the boomerang in this. That was one of my questions a long time ago. Was favorite weapons in video games, and this boomerang is one of mine. Hookshot's pretty good. And I love the way that the bosses are also puzzles. So, I mean, a lot of Zelda bosses are like that, but this one, they nail the formula with it. It's great. And then I didn't get to the boss rush this time around, but there is a boss rush part, and you get to do them all over again. And that really just kind of drives the point home.
There's kind of two. There's the one you're talking about which has also or Marionette Ganon, whatever it's called, which, oh my God, so good. So impressive too.
Yeah.
Oh man. But, what's it called? The Labyrinth of something, where you go back to Onset Island and then you have to fly over and jump into this hole. And it's like 50 floors of just...
Oh, yes. Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. That. I save scum a lot of this game, and you didn't really have to. Like, that part I'm glad I did, because I got to get better at it and kind of do some no-hit screens. But
I only did it on like the annoying timed parts because I didn't want to do it a bunch of times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But sorry, go on.
No, that's fine. And then I'm almost done. Because I thought we were going to spoil this, so I'm going to do my best to not spoil it because...
I think it's fun. It's a very old game. Yeah.
All right, so can I spoil it?
Oh, yeah.
All right. The final blow to Ganon, Link jumps up and drives his sword, stabbing downward like through Ganon's forehead, I think, right? And then he just turns into a statue. Like, that is one of the most memorable parts in... certainly all of the Zelda games.
It was shocking.
In many video games. Yeah. Because it's kind of violent for a game that's very cartoonish, right? Yeah. And that ending is what made me pick my game for this episode. So
okay.
If we want to move on to that.
Well, I just want to say, since we are spoiling, anyone move ahead if you don't want to hear the ending. But you get with... I'll spoil first since I already gave that time limit. But the pirates and the pirate ship, Link joins them and goes to find a new Hyrule. Not Hyrule, but like a new land which they would name and make their own and not just live on islands. Like, they're discovering a new society to build.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That game needs to be made. Yeah,
they could easily make a sequel. I don't remember. Maybe that's what Spirit Tracks is or something, but I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, I've never played that. But I would say one thing that annoyed me with this game was Zelda until the end. Because Zelda, for some reason, is this pirate named Tetra.
Yeah.
Yeah. And very kind of cheeky little pirate that helps you out. And then out of nowhere, turns into Zelda, this very girly princess who is captured again by Ganon. It just, that part didn't make sense to me. It seemed kind of forced.
Yeah, it's like once she's Zelda, all of a sudden she's like, she can't take care of herself.
Yeah, where she was a badass until the second before that.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like this person wanted to be Zelda. It seemed like this person was very happy being a pirate.
Right.
That was weird. That was very forced. But that's my only take on that. But
I did have one other thing, because you mentioned that you didn't own it before. I do still have the disc on this. And I remember, like, complete in case or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember at one point it was worth like $300. And I was like, ooh, no, I'm going to save it because I love this game so much. Like, I'm not going to sell it. And now it's worth like, maybe $100. So I missed my opportunity.
It's a good thing to own, though.
Yep.
Shall we move on to your game?
Yeah. I picked Double Dragon 2, The Revenge. Specifically, I picked the NES version. That's what I'm going to talk about. Rob, if you played any other versions, feel free to discuss those. This one was developed by Technos and published by Acclaim for the NES on January 15th, 1990. It's a pretty standard beat 'em up. You defeat various goons and whatever bosses that you need to save your girlfriend. This is one that I did play and beat back in the day. I did co-op with my little brother. And the last time I played it, maybe like 2010-ish at my mother-in-law's house. She still had my wife's not Super Nintendo, but NES and this cartridge. And I was like, oh, we got to play that. I played it solo this time, and I didn't really have to do that much rewinding except for the platforming parts. Uh-huh. So I think it's a little on the easy side. Maybe not so much towards the end, but this one has a pretty interesting change in the controls from Double Dragon 1. So if you were familiar with that one, you have a punch and a kick button. Here, B always attacks left and A always attacks right. And depending on which way you're facing, So if like you're facing right and you attack left, then you're going to do like a back kick, right? Or if you attack right when you're facing right, you're going to do a punch. And then different combinations of those buttons, you can do like head grabs and knee strikes and jump kicks and tornado kicks and stuff. You figure it out. It's pretty cool. And then you spam the tornado kick and you spam the jumping knee strike, because that's how you knock people off of edges and cruise through this game. Also, these are all unlocked moves, whereas I think in the first one you had to kind of earn moves as you went along. Like after you beat so many enemies, you would get a new move unlocked. And just like with Double Dragon 1, you can pick up weapons. There's knives and chains and pipes and things like that. And then the question that I've been able to stump Rob's AI on is there are continue codes for this game, but they change from level to level. I think it's like 1 and 2 are the same, and 2 and 3 and 4 are the same, or something like that. But it's not always the same code. You have 9 stages. I'm going to put in quotes because they're pretty short stages, especially later in the game. The first stage is the city. It's pretty standard Double Dragon stuff. The boss is the disappearing Iron Mask guy. Stage 2 is more of the city, but you really got to watch your jumping here. You can easily fall to your death. There's a helicopter that can get you with a cheap shot too. And this is where I was talking about. You can like tornado kick and like jumping knee kick people just left and right, and you get them out of your way really fast. The boss here is the twin ninjas. They're kind of a pain to fight at the same time. So if you're careful, you can kind of creep over and sort of just fight one and then fight the other one. That makes it a little bit easier. I do want to say thanks to Simon Ashtier for pointing out that the stage 2 music sounds like Easy Lover by Phil Collins and Phil Bailey.
Oh, I was trying to pick that where I heard the song. I was like, is this like from an old game? Like I wasn't putting it together.
Right. Yeah. That's funny. Then you're in the chopper for stage 3, and you want to stay away from the door because it opens up and closes quite a bit. And if you're too close to it, you can get sucked out. But this is also an easy way to get rid of people very easily, especially the Bobos at the end.
It's definitely a puzzle timing mechanic.
Yes. Yeah. You go to the undersea base after that. There's the ceiling spikes. The ceiling spikes, those suck because you can't jump at all. And so, if you're in the habit of doing the jumping moves, you're going to hurt yourself. I feel like there's no way to avoid getting hit in that section, which I don't like. You should be able to be good enough to do. I'm not saying I would be able to, but and then the boss here is like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando, it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Oh, then you start getting a little bit of the platforming. You get some conveyor belts. You have to jump over these gaps, and it's just not really designed to do platforming. Those jumps are just not precise enough. You do Forest of Death, where you have to hop over some water. You fight Commando Arnold again on the train. The train is pretty cool. The Mansion of Terror, though, that's when it really ramps up on the platforming. It is way too much for these controls. If you could just have a little bit more control over the jumps, I feel like it would be a bit more fair. But anyways, there's no boss. I guess platforming was the boss for that level. And then the trap room, even more platforming. I don't know how I did this as a kid, because this time I think I was rewinding a lot on this. I was doing it on a emulator that you could just hit the rewind button. And then the Mirror Palace, it looks icy, but it's not slippery. I guess the floor is a mirror. And you fight the Shadow Boss, which I forgot that he could do like a Hadouken.
See, I didn't get this far.
Okay. It also depends on how you play. There's like easy, medium, and ultimate hard or something like that. And you have to play the highest level to get all the way. I forget how far each one lets you get, but the first one doesn't get you past the chopper stage, I don't think. Mm-hmm. And then the last stage is, after you beat that boss, it's kind of cool how he just kind of melts into the floor. And if you haven't been playing on the hardest level, then it stops there. But if you have been playing on the hardest level, then you get to the final confrontation, and it's just a boss fight. That's the whole level is just a boss fight. And I was worried that I had misremembered this game because it's in 2 phases. And the first phase is like in outer space, and there's like weird stuff happening. And I was like, oh no. But then after a while, it was all like an illusion. And after you beat him up enough, then the illusion goes away. And so the second phase of that boss fight, that's what I remember. And the whole reason I picked this is because the end of Wind Waker reminds me of this, where the final blow on the boss, it like slows down and it's kind of black and white for a second. And you kind of get this slow motion of you like kneeing him in the face. So whatever. I mean, I suppose if you did like the tornado kick or something, it would do that for that too. But I thought that was so cool when I was a kid. And it is even shorter than I remembered. It is like, 5 frames maybe. It's really fast.
But very effective.
Cool. Yeah, but it was cool. And so I kind of thought that those 2 games would tie together in that way, where they had a cool, unusual ending for the final boss fights.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think about this one? You didn't get it all the way through, you said.
No, I did not get all the way through. I started with the arcade version. So here is the arcade version. You just die. You put in a quarter and you die. That's the game. The lack of invincibility time after you get knocked down is a huge problem. It makes it unplayable. The intro is, and again, we're still at the arcade version. The intro is this dude shoots a girl, and then dudes take her away or something. And then right from there, you exit out of a helicopter garage. Like a garage door opens, you are inside with a helicopter in a garage. Like, do helicopters have garages?
Sure.
Like, yeah.
Like, how do you drive it in there?
None of it makes sense. On the arcade version, the controls are definitely like objectively better. You have more buttons and stuff, so that makes more sense. But
that makes sense.
If you're emulating it, it makes it more confusing. So that's the TLDR of like, just if you're emulating, don't play the arcade version of this. So on to the...
I did want to point out that, the reason I specifically wanted to talk about, for me, the NES port was because only the NES port has that little thing at the end where it slows down for a second.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Right. That was the only one I could find, anyways, that had that ending.
That's weird that they wouldn't do that in the arcade, but...
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean... No one's probably ever beat it in the arcade, ever. That NES port, it's definitely more balanced, and it's a very fun challenge. The cutscenes are just fantastic. Just top of the line. Yeah. The intro, all the cutscenes, just fantastic. My only complaint would really be that you have to get too far to the right to make the screen move. Don't really like that. Yeah,
you get sabotaged.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there's no reason to do that in this,
No.
I really like this game. I never owned it. Hugh pointed out that I would probably play the PC Engine port of this, which I did not know existed. So now I have a few eBay searches saved. So if I find a deal ever, I will pick it up.
Nice.
And if I was a kid and I paid for this game or got it for a birthday present, I would not be sad. And that's about the best thing you could say about a Nintendo game, because there are so many bad Nintendo games.
You could strike out very easily.
Yes. And then that's it. Like you're 40 to 60.
I think Double Dragon 3 might have been one of those strikeouts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Where it's like, there's $40 to $60 gone, or an entire birthday present gone that you're never going to play. Yeah. You're just going to take this game to Funko Land to get $8 for.
Yes.
So, what do you want to play next?
Okay, so I had a whole list of things I was trying to decide between, and I was like, you know what? I want to see what all the fuss is about. I'm picking Little Samson for the NES, which you're going to have to emulate unless you have I don't know, how much does that go for?
A lot of money. Yeah, unless you own this back in the day, which I did not. I do not own this now either.
Right, I looked into it real quick and I was like, okay, this looks like it could be fun. So I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of speedruns of it. It seems pretty cool.
What about you? What are you picking?
I am picking one that Hugh emailed me about. And this is definitely a curveball, but I figured it'd be fun to put it in here. I will not tell why. I will let Hugh email the next episode. If he does not email, I will.
He better.
Yeah, I will share the very quick version, the TLDR version of his story of why. But and he did not ask me to pick this game. He just mentioned it in an email, and I thought, why not? This is a game called The Destroyer from Jail. And it's a very, very, very rare arcade game. You're going to have to emulate this or just watch a YouTube video.
I found a link for it in at the archive, Internet Archive, archive.org.
There you go.
I'll put that in the show notes. I don't know how playable it is. I didn't really mess around with it too much yet. But
yeah, I've never seen this game.
Arcade game.
Never seen this game. Know nothing about it. So
I
yeah,
never heard of it.
Little Samson and The Destroyer from Jail. And if anyone plays any of these games, please email us. Email at retrogameclub.net. Get on our Discord. All our links are in our show notes and Linktree and stuff like that. I'll take these first two emails. How about that?
Sounds good.
So, as I mentioned, Hugh wrote in. Wind Waker was one of the last games he made paper maps for. He drew the overworld grid with very crude island renditions. He would use it to see what he needed to complete on each island. He knows a lot of people like to make fun of the sailing elements, but he found it calming. Yeah, we never really talked about the sailing. What do you think about that?
I agree with him on that, the sailing part. I did like it. I don't like it when early on they make you sail all the way across the map and then all the way back again.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe a third time. But I didn't mind the sailing so much. I mean, there's stuff they do out there. But it is wild to me that he did a map by hand. Like there's an in-game map.
Yeah, but you can't put like what you missed or what people said to you on each island. Like I did run into that problem. Mm. I thought the sailing was fine. Again, I didn't love, but I liked the sailing in East 10. Like I thought it was, I thought the sailing in this was a little bit better than that. And I don't know if I was just trying to get someplace and like those swordfish guys kept coming up to me or something. Like most other beasts, you could just like go around, right? But those swordfish guys would not leave you alone. And so that's the only thing that really got to me. In Breath of the Wild and stuff like that, if you are running around, you could just like discover stuff and run into people and find shops and stuff like that. And this had a little bit of that, but it didn't have the same feeling. I don't know, but
I mean, it was a little bit. There's a little bit more a little more work to it, where you see like a glowing spot, and then you sail up to it, and you hear the noise that lets you know you're in the right spot, and then you can drop your crane down, you pick something up, and you get a rupee or whatever. But yeah, it's not as easy as in Breath of the Wild.
Sometimes the using that crane thing for the Triforce parts. Sometimes that was really annoying.
Yeah, if you didn't have it lined up just right.
Oh my God. There's one I was pretty good. A lot of them I got them first try, but one of them it was like I had to keep like sailing away so I could see where it was again. And
right.
Back.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And you have to change.
Yeah, there should have been some kind of upgrade where it wouldn't disappear on you as you approached.
Because it's not fun. It's like there's no reason to do that.
It's a blind claw machine.
Exactly. Yes, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. And then he goes on to write, he just tried Double Dragon 2 on the Switch Online NES collection. It has a practice mode, which only lasts 2.5 stages, which is super easy, and that was about as much as he wanted to play. The game is fun for that long, but he sees it getting repetitive pretty quickly. And then he mentions what I said before, that Rob's probably going to try the PC engine. But a copy is crazy expensive these days, which he is right. I saw them going anywhere between $500 and $200.
Wow.
Yeah. So I put, a search on there because sometimes people will put something underpriced. And if you get in there quick enough, if your search alerts you quick enough, you can get a good steal. So we'll see. And then Retro Game Dev writes in on Discord. He just listened to the last episode, and he has some thoughts on the Virtual Boy games. He thinks it's quite interesting that Nintendo even bothered to release this thing. For years, they seem to completely disregard its existence. So from a preservation sort of standpoint, he thinks it's neat that it's relatively accurate in a way to experience it now. But that said, he agrees with us that, or he agrees with our thoughts on the games themselves. It's a mixed bag, mostly mediocre or worse. A couple of gems in the mix. For example, golf, pinball, boxing, bowling, and tennis are passable, but they're nothing special. Tetris is horrible. He didn't like Red Alert either. Yeah, it seems like people either love or hate one. Yeah. And all these ones he's ever played for fun would be Mario Clash or Wario Land. And some of them he hasn't played. Overall, the system is pretty good, a pretty good experience. It isn't surprising. It didn't sell that well. It's a neat concept with a couple of fun games. Yeah. But all the games are perfectly fine and playable in emulators on regular screens. No sore neck, eyes, no headache, no nausea. It's really a shame that Nintendo really nerfed this thing, If they had committed to bringing out new experiences that use the viewer, it could have been more acceptable. But for $100 or more and a Nintendo Switch Online subscription, that's a tall order. So, yeah, I really never thought about them bringing out like new games for this. That would have been a good idea.
Yeah. It seems almost illegal to sell a device and be like, oh, you also have to have a subscription. I guess like the Ring doorbell is like that, right?
Yeah. Well, and what really bugs me about this system too, and by the way, new games have come out since. Well,
Yes. But I have not tried them because I don't want to be that ill again.
Exactly. Yeah, it's such a big hassle. And whenever my daughter, she's the one that kind of plays it the most in the house, if she's used it and then put my Switch back, I go to play the Switch, Wind Waker, the past few weeks. It's on that screen that's like the dual split eye screen that says you have to press the screen in order to get out of here. And it's like, well, I have this docked. Like, why can't I press a button to get out of this mode? They really made it really annoying.
That's inconvenient. Yeah.
Yep. I want to take the next one.
We have 2 emails from Majors. The first one, he starts by talking about the comment we'd made about Hugh's 0 prep time for hosting. And he says that as much as he appreciates the researching and planning beforehand, that there must be something to be said about off-the-cuff podcasting. And he would hate for either one of us to burn out over OCD preparation. But of course, he knows that I am weird like that, which he is correct about.
I don't know how you do all the podcasting you do.
It's hardest for mine because I know I have to edit it and I have to lead it. And so I spend the most time on that, and then probably followed up by this one because I don't want to botch this one. And then like all the other guest stuff, there's usually like a bunch of people on. So I'm like, I can more or less wing it. I'll rewatch the movie or whatever. It takes minutes. Anyways, back to Major's email. He says that he also enjoys that when there's not so much of the organization beforehand, that we do some looking up the news articles.
Mm-hmm.
And regarding the GameCube being having your and my favorite controller, he says how the mighty have fallen. And he says that the Saturn Model 2, or the Japanese model pad, is still the best to him. And he will concede that a 360 pad for games like Tomb Raider works well. He uses it for PC games, but to each their own. And if the GameCube pad works well for you, so be it. And I had to look into this Saturn Model 2. So it's a slight variation on the original, which itself is, I think, an evolution of the Genesis 6-button controller, which makes sense. The GameCube is a very necessary evolution of the N64 controller. What I love about it is those face buttons having like a hierarchy, right? And it makes a lot of sense. You have a big A button, you know what that, like, that's the important one. And I kind of wish that Nintendo went back to that with the Switch. You know, obviously they couldn't do it with the Wii and the Wii U, but I guess on the Wii U tablet they could have. But you know, it would be hard to make that work with the left and Joy-Con removed, and then you're holding it sideways. You know, because
yeah.
right, the buttons on the left one become the or the, I guess that's your D-pad on the left one becomes your buttons, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now, yeah, everything, all controllers now, the face buttons are just completely the same, same layout essentially. And the Sega controllers, at least, there was some priority there where you had the A, B, and C and X, Y, Z, and some of them were smaller than the others, and they were, you know, some were above the others. But I get the homogenization of controller layouts nowadays, but you know, it helps to make cross-platform development a lot easier. But I think we can all at least agree that the PlayStation controllers are awful, if for no other reason than the X button is the bottom one, and that's like, that's like a confirm. Why would you click X to confirm? I don't know. Regarding what Rob should open first, you had mentioned pausing on house hunting so that you'll have time to unpack and set up a gaming area, and you asked what you should unbox to christen your game room with, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So he says that out of the few that you've mentioned, he votes for the Sprint because he wants to hear your opinions on it. And the Vectrex would be his second pick since he's already heard enough about the analog stuff. Sorry for all the analog talk earlier.
Yeah, this is analog heavy. Yeah, I do have the Sprint here. I should just open that up and play it at least a little bit. The Vectrex, I have a boxed original Vectrex recapped with every game, plus the multi-cart. Wow. Plus, there's a redone controller or something I recently got. That's still in storage, but I'm mostly concerned with, I haven't researched if Vectrex could do 220 voltage. I do have a voltage regulator here, so we'll see, but I already know those things are twitchy to begin with.
Check that out. Yeah, definitely want to be careful there.
Yeah. I know they existed here, so I don't know.
So, let's see. Game Club Games, talking about Gyrus. He had a longtime friend, or has a longtime friend, who bought a Gyrus cab about 20 years ago. And when he got married, his friend got married and moved away. I guess he didn't say moved away. Moved in with his wife, probably. He had to part with it, and Majors was able to buy it off of him. But they have an agreement that if Majors were ever to need to sell it, then he's going to give his friend first dibs on it and keep it in the family. He says that the game's a great classic, and it doesn't get the fanfare that Pac-Man or Galaga gets, but it's still on the second tier of Golden Age classic arcade games, as confirmed with the Wikipedia entry. And he gives a link. So if you want to look at Golden Age of arcade video games list on Wikipedia, it is on there. I did confirm. So with the audio, he points out that Gyrus uses stereo left and right channels in its audio, and it has a unique joystick, which he says makes the game have a nice tilt to it, pun intended. It's a good play on the Space Invaders Galaga type of game. And he doesn't want to, he doesn't get much of a chance to bring it out to shows that he supports, but there are a few events that request the old wood style arcade cabinets, and he's happy that he owns it in his collection of cabinets. And he says that he hopes that I get the opportunity to play on a real machine with the full circle rotate joystick. And he suspects that you probably already have.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I have not. I guess if I ever make it out to Galloping Ghost or something, there's an arcade here I got to go to, like a one that has supposedly good food and stuff downtown.
You also have California Extreme out there, right? The big arcade convention.
Probably. I don't know. I could look into that. Regarding the first multiplayer online games, he says that Trade Wars on BBSs has to have been the first meaningful time that he spent with multiplayer games, and Unreal Tournament 2004 would have been the next foray into the online multiplayer arena. He had some friends who were heavy into Unreal, and that got him started, but he never joined any of the leagues or clans like his friends did. He was just happy to have hours of deathmatch with random players. And he says that I assume you would not consider Command and Conquer as multiplayer since it's one-on-one. I would.
Yeah, I would.
That's
yeah,
multiplayer, and if it's online, I mean that fits the
absolutely. Yeah.
fits the bill. And then regarding the best video game manuals, he says anything in color. Nice short answer on that one. And then his second email, I was talking about my younger son's adventures with the hobby tech, doing some stuff with Raspberry Pis and Arduino cameras and stuff. He said that listening to that, he could think of his youth when he was learning from doing things he purchased at Radio Shack. And then you had quickly mentioned the same thing, going to Radio Shack. So he was glad we were on the same page. I also went to Radio Shack. I don't remember if I chimed in on that. No, that was like my favorite place to go, man. I just walk around looking at capacitors and resistors and batteries and stuff.
And ham radios, for whatever reason, like needed a ham radio.
And they were still around even in like 2000. And I bought a pretty decent home stereo system there, like with like a 5.1 channel surround sound system for like $200 maybe. Like it wasn't that expensive, and it was pretty good. It lasted me a long time. I think the only reason I got rid of it was because it was just so many wires, and I just didn't want wires running all over the place anymore. And eventually got a Sonos, which kind of started to suck.
Yeah, Sonos was great.
Yes. So Rob, regarding your thoughts on the pricing of hamster games, you had mentioned that the Arcade Archives game should be $5, not $8. And then he says, looking at their site, it seems to be some of them are as much as $15. And then he reminds us that there is something called inflation and that you can't get a McDonald's hamburgers for 59 cents anymore, which is true. But, I don't know. I don't think you're wrong on that.
Yeah, these games aren't in high demand. I think they would sell more on volume if they lowered the price.
Exactly. On a side note, he was made aware that Hamster released Namco's arcade game Rave Racer recently, and he happened to finish his upgrade on his Ridge Racer to Rave Racer last month, and he sent in a picture of that. So he says he's in line with the retro scene. And I didn't even know that there was this Rave Racer thing until he sent that in. And then I think shortly thereafter, I think they talked about it on, what's that podcast where they always talk about arcade games, the arcade game owners, Hadouken.
Oh, yeah.
I think it came up on, it wasn't like an episode specifically, I don't think, but they talked about it a little bit. So it's kind of weird how those things always happen at the same time.
Yeah, so on my website, pantspantsrevolution.com, which makes like 3 cents a day. Please go there and click on an ad. I need it. Yeah, I wrote a little article when this was released, and I got a lot of hits on that one. I didn't realize, and I got a lot of hits in social too. I didn't realize how much people loved this game. Like, it was popular. People wanted this.
Ridge Racer?
Rave Racer.
Rave Racer.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to look into it. Yeah.
I had
need
no
to know
idea.
more about it.
Well, you could get it for $15 from Hamster now.
Apparently. So, regarding the Virtual Boy topic and the controller, I think you might have been the one to point it out. We both talked about it, but the Virtual Boy controller, it had 2 D-pads, and he says that other podcasts that he's heard talking about it recently have mentioned that as well, and then they claimed that the Virtual Boy was the first to do so, and I guess I'm glad we didn't claim that, because Major says that he's like to present to us the Sharp X68000, which sounds like a CPU, Sharp X68000 XPD 1LR, and it's exactly what he described. It's a joypad with 2 D-pads on it. It was released in 1993 and used for Little Rabble and Crazy Climber 1 and 2.
Looks like a cool controller.
Yeah. The Yar's Revenge comic, I think that was somebody's answer for the best manuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's when it came up. And he says that he was also attracted to the Yar's Revenge comic, so much so that he made a custom frame to display it prominently in his retro gaming area. And he sent a picture, and it's this extremely long, tall frame with all the pages of the manual or of the comic laid out. So
Yeah, that's really cool.
Nice. Yeah. That's a good art project.
Yeah.
And then on a silly side note, he says that Rob was talking about playing Super Mario World with friends, but you said my Mario Kart. But on listening to the podcast, he couldn't tell the difference from like Mario Cartridge or Mario Kart the game. And I had the same exact reaction. Actually, I was like, oh, he means cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
But he found it slightly amusing for a second while he.
Well, that's the thing about
podcasting
is I'm not good with English or talking. So it's great that I'm on an audio-only podcast.
I make that same comment about my own show all the time. I'm like, what am I doing talking into a microphone?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And lastly, he says, thanks as always for putting out the show. And thanks for the extra shout outs that I gave him. I don't remember. Sorry. You're welcome. And he also did mention that, I mentioned that I wasn't a Mario guy. And he says that we're on the same page with not being overly enamored with Nintendo's plumber or handyman, for that matter, mascot.
Oh yeah, the new Mario movie comes out in a few days. Are you guys going to go see that?
If my kids are interested, I will take them. Otherwise, I'll probably just wait for streaming. I did see what I would have thought was a spoiler, so I don't know if I'll say it, but there was some poster with some characters in it that I was like, oh, that would have been a nice surprise.
Totally. I don't know why they spoiled that. There was no reason to spoil that.
They want to get butts in seats, I guess. But
I think they would have already had that and had people spoiled it post weekend launch weekend. They would have gotten even more.
Yeah. So, people would be like, you got it. There's a cameo you got to see. Yeah.
And Glenn Powell is doing the voice of that big cameo.
Oh, okay. That's perfect, actually.
Totally perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Thank you, Majors, for that. We have some great socials here. The question of the episode was, what was your first multiplayer online game? Anything that required a modem, like Doom 2, any Prodigy game, Fantasy or Star Online, stuff like that. He wrote in, actually via email, not social, but he doesn't want to sound like a retro game hipster, but he's never played an online game. But he has played a lot of LAN, Doom, and Quake. So there's that. And that does count.
I want to say...
Sorry,
I want to say I haven't even done that.
Oh, wow.
I've never been much of a multiplayer gamer. So I don't need friends. I have video games.
Well, since you mentioned yours, I'll just go right into mine. I was going to do mine last, but I don't have a bunch of overlap. That's why I usually try to do mine last now, because I didn't want to take out anyone's steam from their answers. But a lot of BBS door games, so a lot of them. I won't even go into them. The Red Baron, which I think was, I'm probably getting this wrong, but I feel like that was a Sierra game. But I would play that with some friends over a modem. The Sierra Network, which was Sierra Online's online, Prodigy-like platform, which turned into the Imagination Network, I think. There was some paintball game on there. There was a game called Shadows of Iserbis, which was like a Dungeons and Dragons type RPG, massive online kind of thing, which was really cool. And then Doom. I even, my dad had an office in our house, which had its own phone line. And so my cousin would come over and I would use my modem to call my dad's modem that was in the next room. And we'd play Doom that way. And then eventually he had to watch me and my sister for like a week. My parents went somewhere. And so we just moved my dad's computer into my room, and I happened to have a null modem cable. So we played it that way.
Nice.
And Starsky writes in saying Command and Conquer, which I think was that the one that Majors was asking about, or was that a different game? I see. We can't.
I
We
think it
say
was
we
different.
can't remember from the last episode. We can't even remember from this episode.
No, not at all.
And he would call his friends to see if they wanted to play, and if they did, they'd hang up and then call back via the modem. He'd also play Red Alert, Police Quest Squad, or Police Quest SWAT 2, which I had never heard of. That was an early online game. And he remembers that it was the NWO era of WCW because his clan name was Wolfpack.
It was Command and Conquer that Majors.
Okay. Gumber writes in, first one he remembers was Spy versus Spy on the Commodore 64. He was almost certain he would have friends over the modem playing it. However, he didn't have any evidence to prove it. But he does see one online comment on Lemon 64 with someone else that shares the same memory. So he thinks that's not like a false memory.
What's that phenomenon?
The Mandela.
Yeah, the Mandela effect. Maybe.
Jess O writes in Populous for DOS. And he would play over the modem with his cousin too. Trivia 1 was one of the few early online games on PC, which allowed modem or a serial cable. And also the PC version could play games over the modem with the Amiga version, which is pretty advanced for back then.
Yeah.
I mean, they lock it down now with Sony and Microsoft a lot of times.
Right.
MT writes in saying Capture the Flag for DOS. It was his first online multiplayer game, turn-based strategy game, and definitely first exposure to Fog of War. It was also played by email, sending files back and forth after you like make a move. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
So, even played with friends at school by bringing saved files in via repurposed AOL trial floppy disks, swapping at lunch. That's awesome.
Yeah. Free floppy disk. Thank you.
It has a website still available, carrsoft.com. And that link is in here if anyone wants to check it out. The game came out in 1993, apparently, but he was playing it in 99, maybe 2000. A real good chance that he found it at Home of Underdogs. I don't know. Is that like a shareware disc or something?
I think he mentioned it before.
Okay.
And I looked into it, and I don't recall, and I apologize.
There's a new to me YouTube channel where someone goes through a bunch of old shareware DVDs and CDs.
Nice.
That's
pretty cool. That's a good idea.
I've been binging a lot of those. Yeah, a lot of good and bad stuff out there. Artificial Sweetener.ai writes in and says Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. Also tried playing MechWarrior 2 online, but couldn't. I wonder why he couldn't. Like, was it just bad or just couldn't get it connected? Or did they make you pay and you just didn't want to pay?
Ooh. Could be all of the above.
Was it someone wrote in on Threads, right?
Yeah, just regarding Wind Waker, Wolverine, Wolverone. I don't know, it's like looks like Wolverine with an I.
Yeah,
but it's got like a 1 instead of the O. So, anyways, that guy or gal wrote in on Threads and said that he'd played Wind Waker for 5 years before noticing that the 2-player mode, which we totally skipped over, actually.
I didn't notice it. What's the 2-player mode?
You can connect your GBA through the link cable, and you can have somebody else controlling Tingle. And I forget why, but it makes something easier. But there is something to do with Tingle.
You know, we didn't talk about Tingle at all. We should spend a minute or two on this.
I barely interacted with Tingle because I wasn't doing any of the side quests this time. But anyways.
Well, so yeah, you have to go to Tingle's island. You save Tingle someplace in the south,
Yep.
I think. And then, I probably got that wrong. And then you meet him on Tingle Island, which he's on like a lighthouse looking thing. And there's 2 other Tingle looking guys spinning something around. It looks like a churn or what would that be called? I don't know what it would be called, but and then he makes it so you could see the charts for, like, you could actually read the charts for the Triforce pieces. So he like translates it for you.
Right.
But after you do them all, I thought something would happen on that island. Like, I thought there would be like a quest you completed also where something, I don't know, you could go in, you would see the reason why they're there or something else. So, and there was also a Tingle like a GBA thing in there where it seemed like he would give you other stuff. Do you know anything about this? I didn't look into it at all.
I don't remember, and I'm trying to look into it real quick, and I'm finding a lot of like cryptic things like you get extra stuff. And I remember doing it. I think my wife helped me out a lot playing as Tingle, or else I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it just helps you find things easier, and you get a couple of extra things, probably an extra heart.
Okay.
And I don't know, stuff like that.
But there was a lost...
Somebody out there knows. Yeah. So write in and let us know.
It was a lost opportunity on that island. Like, after he translated all the charts for you, something should have happened on or to that island. So I feel like, miss opportunity there. Thank you, everyone, for writing in. Again, that's email@retrogameclub.net. Get on our Discord. Our link tree's in here. Please write us if you played... what are our games again?
Something Jail.
Oh, yeah. If you played Destroyer from Jail on arcade, or Little Samson, if you played Double Dragon 2, Wind Waker. We had a lot of... ports and stuff like that we talked about. So if you try any of this homebrew stuff out, please let us know. If you put a portable display on your Analogue 3D, anything like that, please. If you are backing up your floppy disks, email@retrogameclub.net. We want to hear about it all. We really enjoy interacting with you all, especially in Discord. It's a lot of fun, and we love the emails too. We do have a next question of the episode, which I picked minutes before we went live. So the
Game Boy, news to me.
Yeah, the Game Boy Advance just turned 25. So just share any memories, thoughts. What, did you have one? Did you like it? Favorite games? Did you hate it? If so, why? That kind of stuff. So please email @retrogameclub.net. And I think that wraps this one up. This was a cool hour and 35 minutes.
Yeah, and no topic.
And no topic, thank God. All right. Well, thanks for listening.